All right. Now, what we have right now, guys, are where stock valuation continues, right? We call it inventory management, right? So we're going to look at a question. This question will see us speaking about average usage, minimum usage, maximum usage, lead time, EOQ. The terminology EOQ refers to economic order quantity, right? Now, the average usage, whenever you hear to speak about average usage is basically looking at the average amount of goods that they use in the inventory, right? Or the average amount of goods that you use, right? Either per day, per week, etc. Right? So therefore, if you're running a shop, right, and you're selling bread, right, and on an average, persons normally buy 100 bread from you per week. So it simply means that your average usage would have been 100, right? The average amount of bread that you would have sold per week, right? And you can even boil it down to a day. You divide the number of days by your sales, and that will tell you the average amount of goods that you sell per day. Next off, which we talk about minimum usage. Minimum usage make reference to the minimum amount of goods that were sold per day or per week, right? So it make reference to the lowest amount, right? The lowest amount of order that you would have got on a given day. Whereby maximum usage would represent the highest amount of order that you would have got on a given day. Right? So the maximum usage make reference to the maximum amount of goods that you would have used or you would have sold on a given day. Whereby the minimum would have been the reverse. The least amount of goods that you would have used or the least amount of goods that you would have sold on a given day. Now, lead time. Whenever you make reference to lead time looks at the time between placing an order and receiving the goods, right? So lead time make reference to the time between placing an order and actually receiving those goods. So take, for example, if you were buying goods from, say, for example, an National Bakery, right? And they deliver bread to you, all right? Now, if when you place an order, they say to you that, okay, it will take anywhere from 4 to 6 days to deliver it. So it therefore means that you can receive those goods as early as 4 days, right? And the latest time that you'll receive those goods is within 6 days, right? So if they say that the lead time is anywhere between 4 to 6 days, right? So therefore means that they can deliver it at the shortest possible time, which is 4 days, or it can take you on the longest possible time, which is 6 days, right? So that is basically looking at the lead time, the time between you placing the order and actually receiving those goods. Now, if you want to know the average, right, what you'll do, you just add the two. So earlier we were speaking about if the earliest time that you can receive the goods is 4 days, and the latest time that you may receive those goods is 6 days. It therefore means you add the two, which would have been 4 plus 6, that would give you what? 10. You divide it by 2, and that will give you what? 5. So it therefore means that the average amount of time that it will take you to receive those goods is 5 days. All right, so that is how you get average there. All right, EOQ make reference to your economic order quantity. All right, so EOQ again make reference to your economic order quantity. Now, economic order quantity looks at the right amount of goods that you should order. It looks at the right amount of goods that you should order to reduce the cost in your inventory, right? Because remember, when a lot of goods are in your inventory, you're going to incur costs, right? If those goods need to be refrigerated, you have to put them on the refrigerator, right? And of course, that means what? Electricity bill. The more goods that you have, the more security system that you need to put in place, the more worker, etc., etc., right? So what the company tried to seek is to calculate what is known as their EOQ, right? The right amount of goods that they want in their inventory. Why is this important? You don't want to have too less of a goods in your inventory, because if you have less goods in your inventory, you run the risk of those persons coming to buy things from you and you don't have any. Right? So that is what we call what? Stock out. Right? Meaning that you run out of stock. Right? You don't want to also have too much goods in your inventory, because if you have too much goods in your inventory, you run the risk of those goods becoming what? Obsolete. So you want to have the right amount of goods in your inventory. So that is what EOQ stands for, the economic order quantity. All right? Now, based on this question, right? Based on this question, or even before we do that, if ever you want to know the average usage, so if the average usage was not given to you in the question, right? If our average usage was not given to you, now based on this question, we started out with your average usage, and it says average usage there was 100 units per day. Now if you're calculating a question and the average usage is not given to you, to get average usage, all you simply need to do is your maximum usage plus your minimum usage. Right, so all you simply need to do is you need to add your maximum usage plus your minimum usage, right? And divide it by 2, and that will give you your average usage. Now in this question, they would have given you the average usage, but if the average usage was not given to you, what you would have add right there, because once the average usage is given to you, that would take precedence. You would use the amount that they give you for the average usage. But if it was not given to you, you would have been 60 plus 130, and that would have given you what? 190. When I divide that by 2, I believe you would have got 95. Alright, I believe you would have got 95, right? Which they round off there and just call it 100 units. So you would have got 95. Alright, but because I tell you that average usage is 100, because I told you that average usage is 100, they're going to use the 100. But if that was not given to you, right, of course you would have the 60 plus the 130. That would have given you 190 divided by 2, and that would have given you what? 95, and that is what 95 you would have used as your average usage. But again, they told you to use average usage, or they said that the average usage in this question is 100 per unit, so you don't need to do that. You only would have done so if it was not given to you. All right. Now the first thing that we're going to calculate is your reorder level. Right, is the reorder level. Now the formula for calculating the reorder level is your maximum usage times the maximum lead time. Right, maximum usage means that the maximum amount of goods that you use multiplied by the maximum lead time. Now if you're looking at the question, right, the third item there, maximum usage was what? 130 per day. Right, multiplied by your maximum lead time. Look at the lead time. The lead time you had what? 20, which is the shortest possible time, and 26, which is the longest possible time, right? So the maximum lead time there was 26. So therefore you have 130 multiplied by 26, and that gives you what? 3,380, right? So that is 3,380 units, right? So that is your reorder level. Reorder level meaning that, okay, whenever time, reorder level is basically speaking to the fact that whenever your inventory reach that amount, right, you need to place an order. Right, you need to place an order. Right, whenever your inventory reaches such amount, right, you need to now place an order. You need to place an order, right? So you need not to have your inventory falling below that level, or that is the indication for when you're supposed to place an order, right? Your reorder level. So when it reaches, whenever you have 3,380 units in your inventory, it simply means that you need to what? Place a order, right? So you won't have what is known as stock out, meaning that you don't have sufficient stock in your inventory. So we'd have looked at how you calculate the reorder level. Next of which two, we're going to look at the formula for calculating your minimum level. Now the formula for calculating your minimum level is your reorder level minus your average usage multiplied by your average lead time. Now the reorder level was calculated above. So the reorder level is what? 3,380 minus, and you want to find your average usage. Now again, remember that average usage was given to you in the question, right? So let's say that average usage here was what? 100. So you use about the 100. Multiplied by your average lead time. Now look at the lead time. The lead time was what? 20, can take anywhere from what? 20 to 26 days. So if you want to know the average lead time, 20 plus 26 would have given you what? 46. Now when I divide the 46 by 2 to get the average, so 2 into 46 would have given you what? 23. Right, so that is how you get that 23 right there for your average lead time. So below you would have had, so therefore you would have had 100 multiplied by the 23, which would have given you 2,300. So therefore we have 3,380 minus the 2,300, and that would have given you an answer of what? 1,080 units, right? And that would have been the what? Minimum level. right? That would have been your minimum level, right? So that is the minimum of level of inventory that should be. The minimum amount of goods that you should have in your inventory should never fall below that, right? It should never fall below that, right? That would have been your minimum level, all right? All right. Now the third task that we're supposed to calculate is the maximum level, right? It's the maximum level. Now the formula for calculating maximum level is your reorder level plus the EOQ, which is oftentimes calculated and given to you. Now notice that the EOQ was given to you at what? 4,000, right? So the EOQ there was given to you at 4,000 units, right? All right, so again, the formula for calculating maximum level is your reorder level, right? Which was calculated earlier, plus your EOQ minus your minimum usage multiplied by your what? Minimum lead time. Right? So it's your reorder level plus your EOQ minus your minimum usage multiplied by your minimum lead time. So what was your reorder level? Remember your reorder level was calculated earlier. It was what? 3,380. Then you're going to add the EOQ to it, right? Which the EOQ in this case is 4,000. Then you minus the what? The minimum usage, right? The minimum usage. Remember that the minimum usage, the second thing there in the question. So minimum usage was what? 60 units, right, per day. Right? Multiply by your what? Minimum lead time. What was the minimum lead time? So you have lead time there. Remember what lead time mean, right? The least amount of time that it will take you to get those goods that you would have ordered. Now in this case, your minimum lead time was what? 20. So 60 times 20 give you what? 1,200, right? The 60 times 20 give you 1,200. Whereby the 3,380 plus 4,000 give you what? 7,380. Now when you minus 1,200 from it, you will get what? 6,180, right? 6,180. And that make reference to your what? Maximum level, meaning that you should never have any more than 6,180 goods in your inventory at any given point. Right? So that is the maximum amount of goods that you should have in your inventory at any given point. Alright? So that is the maximum level. Alright guys, so we're looking at the formula for calculating the EOQ, which we made mention of earlier. So if ever EOQ is not given to you, or if you're given a question and they ask you to calculate the EOQ, which EOQ stands for your what? Economic order quantity, right? Now the formula for calculating your EOQ is the square root of 2 multiplied by CO multiplied by D over CC. So again, it's a square root of 2 multiplied by CO multiplied by D over CC. Now below, I tell you what all of those letters there mean, right? So we're CO. What is CO? CO, we're speaking about the what? The ordering cost, right? The ordering cost per order. So in layman term, what they're saying here is that how much it costs you to place an order. Each time you place an order, how much time it costs you, right? So that is what CO there mean. The ordering cost per order, right? How much it costs you. Now D there make reference to what? Demand per annum. In other words, the annual demand, right? So how much goods do you demand per annum? So if you're given a question and they tell you that, okay, you require 1,000 units of goods per month, you'd have to multiply it by 12 to give you the annual amount, because what? It is 12 months in a year, right? So you need to pay attention to that. Alright? So if they give you the monthly demand and you want to know the annual demand, you multiply it by what? 12. If they give you the weekly demand and you want to find the annual demand, you multiply it by what? 52. Alright? So remember that D make reference to your what? Annual demand. Now CC making reference to your what? Your carrying costs per item per annum, right? The carrying cost per item per annum. In other words, layman speaking, is what they call the holding cost, right? The cost to carry a good in your inventory. The cost to carry goods in your inventory. You need to bear in mind that once there are goods in your inventory, right, you're continuing to incur costs. So be it electricity, be it security, be it employees, right? You have persons who are supervising those goods in your inventory or taking care of those goods in your inventory. So all of those are costs associated, right? So you're speaking about all of those costs from the cost to to deliver those goods to you, right? And all of the other associated costs up to the point of you what? Up to the point of those goods leaving your inventory are known as carrying costs, right? So therefore, shipping and handling is going to be a part of your carrying costs. Security fee is going to be a part of your carrying costs. Storage fee is going to be a part of your carrying costs, right? Persons who work on those goods, it's going to be a part of your carrying costs. Any associated costs with that goods up to the point of you selling those goods are known as carrying costs. All right, we're going to look at a question which will see us calculating the EOQ now. All right. Now this is a question that we're going to look at, all right, which see us calculating the EOQ. Now let us see how best we can sieve through. The video quality may not be the best, but I'm going to read the question here. The question states, find the EOQ, which means your economic order quantity, where the forecasted demand is 1,000 units per month. All right? The ordering cost is what? $350. The ordering cost is $350 per order. And the unit cost is $8 each. So the unit cost what? $8 each. Right? It continues to say that, and it is estimated that the carrying cost is 15% per annum, meaning that the cost to carry that goods in your inventory is 15%. 15% of your ordering cost. Alright, so again, find the EOQ, which is your economic order quantity, where the forecasted demand is 1,000 units per month. The ordering cost is $350 per order. The unit cost is $8 each. And it is estimated that the carrying cost is 15% per annum. Now first we've got to write out what we have right there. Now, right, so we have our CO, right? Our CO, remember what our CO means in the formula? The CO therefore means our what? Ordering cost, right? The CO therefore means ordering cost. Then we look to find our D. What is D? Annual demand. Now the question states to you that the forecasted demand is 1,000 units per month. So if you want to know the annual demand, you multiply it by 12. Because you get the monthly demand, so therefore the annual demand, you multiply it by 12 to get the annual demand. Right? And therefore you get your annual demand. If your monthly demand is 1,000, it therefore means that your annual demand would be 12,000, your annual demand. Then you're looking at your what? Your carrying cost. Now your carrying cost there is the 8. So the $8 there. Alright, so 8 times 15. 15% that is. Now 8 times 15% will give you what? $1.20 per item. So what that is saying to you, to carry your goods in your inventory, it's going to cost you $1.20 for each of those goods in your inventory. Alright? It costs you a total of $1.20 per item to keep those goods in your inventory. That is what it is costing the company. So therefore, the formula would have been what? The square root over 2 there, right? Multiplied by your what? Your ordering cost, and in this case, your ordering cost is what? $350. Alright, so multiply by your CO, which is your ordering cost, multiply by your what? D. D make reference to your annual demand, which is 12,000. Divided by what? Your CC, which is your carrying cost, which would have been the 8 multiplied by the 15%, and that gives you what? $1.20. So divide it by the $1.20. Alright? And when you do the maths, when you multiply the top part of the equation, then you divide it by $1.20, then you find the square root, you'll get a total of 2,646 units. And that takes care of the formula for EOQ. Alright? That takes care of the formula for EOQ. So that is all that you need to do when you're finding the EOQ. Alright?